I approach the latest Pirates of the Caribbean as someone a little burnt out by the franchise. I really like the original trilogy by Gore Verbinski. The original is a blockbuster classic, and I am in the camp of people that really enjoyed the two sequels as well. The fourth I thought was really boring. It was dire and didn't have any artistic flavour. Johnny Depp looked bored, Ian McShane was wasted, and I hated what they did to Barbossa, my favourite character. When you think about it, there's actually a lot of potential with the Pirates of the Caribbean sequels. You don't necessarily have to have it centered on the same bunch of characters. I mean, much as I like him, Jack Sparrow has become a bit of a joke now. He doesn't have the same charm, because before he was an eccentric weirdo, but he had goals and he was cunning and intelligent. Now he's just a bumbling baboon, a caricature. The character is a perfect example of Flanderization. This new one though not only insists that the story be centered around Jack again, and yet another dastardly villain from the past that he manages to piss off, but they bring back Will Turner and Elizabeth in small roles, and part of the story sees Will's son, all grown up now, looking to free his father from his curse by nabbing some tablet or staff or something. You know how it goes. There's a young girl who's into science, and she thinks she knows a way of finding the MacGuffin, and Sparrow is also after it as it will stop the baddie taking him down, said baddie being played by Javier Bardem. Barbossa gets involved simply because fans would riot if he wasn't, and all these characters clunkily collide with one another in the latest film of a franchise that just won't die. There's an odd aura the film has, an aroma of something desperate to replicate and cling onto past glories, like an aged model's face being glued together with heavy makeup and Botox. The film succeeds in places, yes, but it fails in others, and there is an overall feeling that the glory days of the franchise is long gone. Everyone looks older, and some classic supporting characters like Gibbs return, whereas others are nowhere to be seen. If anything, it makes me a little sad. But anyway, I did actually enjoy this film a fair bit, having gone in with no expectations. It has a lot of problems, but as far as the average Hollywood blockbuster goes, this one is very enjoyable. I liked it more than On Stranger Tides, to say the least, but I don't think it's better than any of the Verbinski films. In fact, it does seem that the filmmakers were attempting to rectify some of the sins of the last movie, like making Barbossa more of a pirate than that whole weird privateer phase he went through, and bringing back the Black Pearl amongst other things. There's a fair few decent set pieces the film contains, which had me smirking in amusement. There's one part, for example, where Sparrow's crew stage a bank robbery, and instead of pulling away with the safe, they end up taking the entire bank with them. It's the kind of farcical and utterly ridiculous set piece that the franchise is known for. It takes place early on in the film, and overall the first half is better than the second half of the film. It feels like a pirate's film. It has a good flow to it, the jokes work, the story is being set into place. It struggles to bring it all together in the second half though. You get some weird sex jokes and cheap gags. It loses its rhythm, and one of the things I felt the film lacked was a proper climax. It has a few decent action set pieces spaced out over the course of its runtime, but nothing big in the end, like they ran out of time or money or something. A beloved character also dies, but at this point in the franchise, people have died and come back so often you don't really feel the emotional weight you're supposed to feel. I wasn't really a fan of the baddie in this one. His backstory is weak, and he comes off as quite petty for going after Jack, and to be honest, I know in this universe there's zombies and the undead and all of that, but the way this guy turned into an undead was really lame. In fact, his whole story felt like a fleeting thought that was brought up in a preliminary meeting between the producers, perhaps on a lunch break next to the watering fountain. He wants to kill all pirates, sure. He's chasing Jack, Sparrow outmaneuvers him, and the guy crashes into a cave or something and then just gets turned into an undead, hell-bent on revenge. It doesn't really stack up when put next to the likes of Barbossa and Davy Jones. And what's with the compass being linked to his freedom? How does that even work? As mentioned, Johnny Depp as Sparrow doesn't have the edge it used to have. The bad guy is not really that interesting, and the new kids lack the presence of Will and Elizabeth. The existing characters are shadow of their former selves, and the writing is not as witty as you expect from a Pirates movie, and there are huge holes in the story. It is enjoyable in a way, a film to watch when you're bored. In fact, I watched most of it waiting in the car for someone, but it does feel like you're watching a reanimated corpse trying to mimic a beloved franchise. It feels like it's dead, it feels tired, and as much as I loved the first few films, I think I'd prefer if Disney declared this franchise dead and told no more tales. I give it a 6 out of 10.